Well, folks, Kyler Murray went and got himself some social media trouble this time around, and it ain't Call of Duty. It ain't nothing about football, really. I mean, somewhat, little bit, kinda, but not really, right? Is it silly? A little bit. People are super sensitive about this sort of thing, but since it's Cardinals news, we gotta talk about it. So let's get right to it. Welcome back to Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law. Hit that sub, hit that bell, send that like. Let's talk some Cardinals football in a minute because this one's a little weird for y'all. So Kyler Murray went ahead and got himself some trouble, right? Well, he posted a photo that people don't like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you guys the photo here in a second, but we live in sensitive times. That sensitivity can be both good and unforgiving, right? Police wear body cams. Doctor forms now ask you to define your gender identity, which is touchy for a lot of people. Even food choices spark debate these days. Some vegetarians will eat fish or chicken, and then others will be like, well, that's not vegetarian at all. And when it comes to cruelty, there's really no hard gray area, right? People draw hard lines. That's why this photo right here is causing so much controversy. It's if you guys can see it right there. It's my Kyler Murray wearing the Michael Vick jersey. Keep in mind that's a Virginia Tech Michael Vick jersey. Taking a photo with his dog Trunks, and it's not an ideal photo for him to post. So this week's story involving Kyler became national news. Right? Murray posted a photo of himself sitting on his porch wearing a white Michael Vick jersey with his pit bull next to him. On the surface, nothing about it seems controversial. Murray has always admired Michael Vick as a player, right? Vick was the first overall pick in 2001 for the Atlanta Falcons, a four-time Pro Bowler and the first quarterback in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. Revolutionary talent. And for a young Murray, a childhood hero. But here's where the perception kicks in. Michael Vick's legacy isn't just football. It's that dogfighting scandal, right? In 2007, he pleaded guilty to federal charges of operating a dogfighting ring. Dozens of pit bulls were abused, killed, or discarded if they didn't perform, right? Disgusting, horrible, horrible thing that happened. Vick went to prison, lost millions in contracts and endorsements, which is honestly the smallest part of that whole deal, and became the face of animal cruelty in America, to this day for some people. Now imagine this. Kyler Murray, in a Vick jersey, sitting with his own pit bull, right? To dog lovers, the juxtaposition was jarring, okay? Murray's intent wasn't malicious. He was honoring his football hero while hanging out with his pet. But the imagery, it tied a known dog abuser to a vulnerable breed that already carries a stigma. I had a pit bull I just unfortunately recently had to put down due to health issues and everything, age. But pit bulls are great animals, a great dog breed. I know a lot of people don't like them. You might not. I love them. I've had two, and they've always been really good nanny dogs. My kids love them. They love my kids, and it's awesome. But the dog fighting scandal, that's why the photo exploded online, right? To his credit, Kyler Murray didn't double down. He posted that, he admitted at the presser, I think it was yesterday or earlier today, that it was a mistake, saying, quote, "In no way, shape, or form do I condone animal cruelty or dogfighting," end quote. He explained that Vick was a player he grew up admiring, that his dogs Trunks and Tush, both American Bulldogs, are treated like kings, and that he simply misjudged how the image would be received. Then he took the photo down, which, okay, a lot of people would be like, "Whoa, hey, what is that?" Whatever. A lot of people applauded it. Kind of the damage is already done. This is where the larger conversation comes in. Are people too sensitive? Or are they right to connect the dots, even unintentionally, right? The truth is, both can be true. Michael Vick remains one of the most polarizing figures in sports history. Some see his redemption arc, returning to the NFL, winning comeback player of the year in 2010 with the Eagles, finishing his career with the Jets and Steelers, and now coaching in Norfolk State. Others will never forgive him for what happened to those dogs. Both perspectives are valid. For Kyler, the lesson is about optics. Intent doesn't always matter if the perception hits differently. A photo can go viral in seconds, even if you don't mean harm. The damage is already done. As a franchise quarterback that faces the Cardinals, Murray is held to a higher standard. The good news: addressed it quickly, apologized, and moved on. He showed accountability, which is what the fans and organization want to see. But it's a reminder how powerful symbols are in today's culture. A jersey, a dog, a photo. Put them together and suddenly you got a headline. Kyler Murray is not Michael Vick in any way, shape, or form. And he's not condoning animal cruelty. But in 2025, every move is magnified. Every image is dissected. Every mistake is amplified. For Murray, this won't define him. But it's a reminder that being an NFL quarterback means living in a spotlight where perception matters as much as intent. So, credit to him for apologizing and moving on from it and everything and taking the photo down and all that. But you when you're a professional athlete in a face out, even even for myself as a podcaster, as a journalist, and all that. I have to be careful what I post as well, right? But that's what comes with it. And in this day and age where social media is so polarizing, so crazy, so huge, so kind of so very clearly gross, things will blow up and things will get magnified and things will get polarized. So, but good on him for making them, apologizing and making amends, and hopefully everybody can move on from this. But it was a little weird, not gonna lie to you, to see it. It was just like, ugh. Moving on to some actual football. Man, when the bar is set high, perspective changes. And that's exactly where the Cardinals are right now with the run game. Through 2 weeks, the numbers aren't bad, right? Arizona's tied for 13th in the NFL with 114 rushing yards per game and ranks 11th at 4.65 yards per carry. On paper, middle of the pack. But when you've been top 5 and top 7 the past 2 seasons, those numbers feel like a step back. Kyler Murray put it bluntly, quote, "We've been better in the past, and I think that's something we have to be better at going forward," end quote. He's right. The eye test shows flashes. Trey Benson's 52-yard run. Murray's 31-yard scramble. But outside of those explosive plays, consistency just hasn't been there. James Conner, the emotional heartbeat of this offense, arguably of his team, has only, 73 yards on 23 carries so far? Yes, found the end zone twice, and even had a highlight one-handed catch and run against Carolina. But the production on the ground hasn't matched his past standards, right? Especially not coming off that contract he just got. Offensive coordinator Drew Petzing says there's no need to panic. Drew, you call the plays, dog. 50% is on you. At least 50%, maybe more. Anyway, he chalked it up to, a small sample size, right? Pointing out that sometimes big plays or tough matchups skew the numbers. Anyway, our center, Hijalti Froho, echoed that, right? Reminding everyone that Arizona has already faced elite defensive linemen like Carolina's Derek Brown. He kicked their butts, obviously, as far as the run game goes. And the consensus in the building, stay the course. No major overhaul is needed. Just small tweaks, marginal improvements, and that leads us to this week's showdown with San Francisco. Last year, the Cardinals gashed the Niners for 169 rushing yards in the last-second win, with James Conner carrying the team on the game-winning drive, racking up 34 yards in one series, basically matching the entire game totals for the first 2 weeks of this season. When Conner gets rolling, the Cardinals' whole offense opens up. We need that to happen. That's the key heading into Week 3 this Sunday against the Niners. Explosive plays are nice, but Arizona needs that steady diet of Conner pounding the ball, because that means third down conversions, getting first downs, new drives, right, or keeping the drives alive. And on schedule, wearing down the defense, and then they can find that balance again, especially against a division rival like San Francisco. This offense goes from good to dangerous. The run game hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been the identity we've seen these last 2 years. Until James Conner finds his rhythm, the Cardinals won't fully be at their best. And I could see a world where JG goes, all right, let's give Trey Benson the start. Let's see what this looks like with him. And that would be a wild thing to see, folks. Speaking of Carolina, speaking of San Francisco, I'm getting ahead. Not getting ahead of myself. I'm going back in time. Brock Purdy might actually play this weekend. I'm not really that worried about it, but after missing last week's win over the Saints with a toe injury, Brock Purdy could be back under center this Sunday when San Francisco hosts our Cardinals. Now, the tone out of San Francisco has definitely shifted. A week ago, head coach Kyle Shanahan called Purdy a long shot to play. This week, much more optimistic, right? He confirmed that Purdy will be limited participant in practice and said flat out, quote, he does have a chance to play, end quote. That's a big upgrade in just 7 days. Purdy was even spotted throwing during individual drills, which is a positive sign after dealing with both a toe and shoulder injury or shoulder issue since week 1, which again, it's early in the season, bro. Can't believe you're already that beat up. Here's the catch, though. Shanahan admitted the toe is a real problem, something he even compared to turf toe. That kind of injury lingers, and it actually gets worse, especially for a quarterback who needs his lower body to drive the ball. He runs quite a bit. The Niners aren't going to put Purdy on the field unless they're confident he's close to 100%, but Shanahan left the door open for him to either to start or even dressing as a backup, depending on how he progresses. If Purdy can't go, the Niners aren't exactly in a terrible shape. Mac Jones stepped in against the Saints and delivered, right? 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he looked comfortable running Shanahan's system. Keep in mind it was the Saints. But the locker room has confidence in him, right? Christian McCaffrey said it best, and, quote, in this league, you never know. You got to be ready. And having Mac as our backup is huge, end quote. That's a solid insurance policy for San Francisco. But the Niners' issues don't stop at quarterback. They're also banged up elsewhere. McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams all had rest days. Jawan Jennings is dealing with an ankle and shoulder injury. Kyle, alphabet last name, bro, I'm sorry, is in concussion protocol. And starting left guard Ben Barch just went on IR with a high ankle sprain. That means rookie Connor Colby steps in on the offensive line against us. Our defensive front has been disrupted through 2 weeks. Cardinals might be catching the Niners at the right time, but if Purdy plays, he'll be limited. If he doesn't, it's Jones again. Either way, San Fran is dealing with injuries across the board. For us, this is a golden opportunity to put pressure on the rival, and that usually comes in. They usually come in looking invincible, so hopefully that won't be the case this time. QB situation will dominate headlines, but the real story might be San Fran is 2-0, but they're already limping. The Cardinals need to test that depth early and often. That San Fran game is going to be wild. It's just going to be wild because if Brock Purdy plays, we have a chance to steal. When he doesn't play, we have a chance to steal one, and we have a chance to make Mac Jones look like a freaking all-star, okay? Or all-pro, whatever you want to call it. Jesus. It's never a comfortable games for us, ever. All right, hot take time, folks. You love this time of the show. Are teams just going to be pansies about the tush push? Are we really, as the NFL, the gridiron, right? Look at the history of this league. We had the Steelers with the steel curtain. Those old Steelers teams that just punch you in the mouth, and all the players that came out of University of Miami would celebrate on top of you and everything. And we're really, really upset about the tush push. Are you guys kidding me right now? One of the most controversial plays in football. Back in the spotlight. The tush push, also known as a brotherly shove, because it's done by the Philadelphia Eagles almost exclusively. The NFL has told teams it wants to tighten officiating up on that play after identifying a missed false start by the Eagles in Week 2 against the Chiefs. By the way, eat it, NFL. What is that? You guys look, because it's the Chiefs, you look back at the, really? Oh no, the Chiefs complain. Oh, we better look at it. Dude, you guys miss plays every single week, not a peep. How many penalties were called against the Cardinals? You ain't said nothing about it. Do better. Gee, do better. Be better. I mean, your officiating sucks. Your rule change sucks. And honestly, NFL teams are a bunch of cowards. 100%. I have not looked at the teams that complained about it. I know Packers were one. I know the Chiefs were one. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Bidwell was like, I don't like it either. No one cares, bro. Nobody cares. All right, stop the play. As an Arizona Cardinals fan, stop them. It's football. We're gonna be wussies about it, but here's what happened. Late in the fourth quarter, Philly ran their signature tush push on third. It was 3rd-1, and Jalen Hurts, got shoved, converted the first down, but the league now says it was an early movement that should have been flagged. That missed call was so glaring, apparently. The NFL actually used it in a training video sent to all 32 teams. The message: we want this officiated tight. Every aspect of the offense is to be perfect. Any movement that isn't legal should be a false start. Well, guess what, officiating people, refs? You need to be perfect too. All right? You can't be calling on players and all this to be perfect, and then you guys suck. The officiating has been trash. The first 2 weeks have been awful officiating-wise. Every team has more than one example of how they got screwed by the refs. Chiefs included, Philly included, us, everybody. Chiefs coach Andy Reid was furious on the sideline at the time, saying afterward, quote, if guys are moving early, then you got to call that, end quote. Even Tom Brady calling the game in the broadcast said, quote, they missed that one pretty bad, end quote. The league's point is clear. If teams are going to bunch up and run a near unstoppable play, then other teams are going to be pansies about it. No, but the execution has to be flawless. NFL officiating exec Ramon George spelled it out in the video. They want to be black and white about the movement, lining up correctly and being onside, no wiggle room. Okay, again. If you're going to go on, you complain about missed calls on this, complain about every missed call. The missed holding. Every team holds on every play. Okay? But refs will tell you, well, if we called that one, the game will never end. Then call it. If we're talking about we got to be perfect every single play, then okay. Get past the tush push. I swear, teams that can't stop it just complain about it. It's the weakest stuff I've seen in the No Fun League. Is just apparently a bunch of pansies. All these guys that want to be like, oh, a football player. Are you? Are you sure? Because football players are supposed to be tough. Okay? Even some punters are tough. All right, but that's why I have no respect for any team that complains. Us included if we were one. I don't even know if we were. But the Packers were the ones that came out first, right? So this comes after a heated offseason, right, debate on whether the play should be banned altogether. Are we really? Was it fair high 451? Come on, dog. Come on. It's football. It's irritating. It's so dumb. 22 teams actually voted to outlaw it. But the proposal failed because you need 24 votes to pass a rule change, right? That means the tush push advice for now, but the door's still open for it to be banned by 2026 if momentum shifts. So the NFL isn't banning the play yet, you're right, but they're making sure defenses at least get a fair shake. No more missed movement calls. If teams want to run the tush push, they better do it by the book. Otherwise, expect flags. Okay, do it for everything. How about we get super creative? We get incredibly, lack of a better word, anal about every single play. Can we do that? Because guess what, Chiefs? You guys would be called for holding every single snap. Every single one. Y'all will be called for holding. Don't even play with me. You know I'm right. All right? We probably get called for it too. Not gonna lie. Our line gets away with some stuff every once in a while. Okay? It's just irritating. Like, oh, it's supposed to be a grown man sport. What are we doing? And that's a real story. Right? The most unstoppable player in football might actually face his biggest opponent. Tighter officiating. Or banning. We're going to ban a play. You guys are weak. Weak. Every one of those teams that voted to ban it, weak. All 22 of y'all. Us probably included in that but weak. Grow up. Grow a pair. What are we doing? It's supposed to be football, man. Anyway. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law. Don't forget to hit that sub, hit that bell, hit that like, leave a comment. I'll see y'all tomorrow for more Cardinals football. Catch you guys later. Go Cardinals.